welcome back. I'm so sorry I've been gone for so long. Gosh, I look really bright and washed out right now. It's not the brightest day here. It's very wintry where I am, but maybe there's a reflection off of the snow outside my window. But yeah, I have been gone for quite some time. I had a lot of stuff going on, and the scorpionic energy of the season that we just came out of hit me really hard. And I think it brought up a lot of stuff for just about everybody, but if you're an empath, if you're an intuitive, if you're a sensitive little bean like me, you may have found it particularly challenging. So I took a break and took some space from a lot of things that I had been working on, and just came back to it last night. I did it was so funny. I did a 3-pile pick a card, what do I need to know right now reading, and I would pause it in between each of the piles and then get them in front of me, and somehow it split the last pile into 2 different videos, and it was so frustrating. I don't know if it's gonna work so well, but I wonder if I just turn this. Does that make it any less bright? I don't think that made a huge difference, but anyways, so I don't know if it's the Scorpio season energy, but I have just been hearing like Scorpio, like just hearing it being screamed over and over again, Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio in my mind, like, so I feel that I need to do this for you. I have no idea what's up. I hope you are well. You tell me what's going on, but yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to like, comment. Oh wow, okay. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It really helps boost the channel and get the messages out to more people. Do remember, these are very general reads, so obviously it can't apply to every single Scorpio in the world, but if it's your energy, hopefully this is helpful. If it's not, do check out your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Yeah, and let me know how it resonates for you. Also, because it's general, if you're looking for information that's more specific to you and your situation, you can always reach out and we can set up a private read. Happy to do that for you. I will be booking into, I'll do some in December, and then mostly into the new year. What is going on for my Scorpios? Gonna get the whole picture out here on the table, what is going on, and then I'll let you know. Ooh. Goodness gracious, Scorpio. Wow. Whew, there's some heavy duty energy right there. Oh, something just turned over. Oh, I had a feeling. Gosh, okay. Whew. All right, we've got 2 kings out on the table. We'll see what that means. We'll see what that means for us. Just need one more card, please. One more. Ugh. Don't give me 20, just give me 1. Oh, and I turned it over absentmindedly. Why is that in the inverse? I don't usually do inverse. Okay, well, let's see what's up here, Scorpio. So I'm going to shift this so that maybe you can... I'm sorry, this probably isn't the best setup, but I'll show you the cards anyways. So I'm experimenting with new spreads, and I think what I'm going to do is, so I've been aiming for a past, present, future energy, but again, take it how it resonates. There's a lot here on the table. Looks pretty jumbled, the energies, but it looks like whatever's been going on has been quite challenging for you, and it's about being caught in a state of indecision. So both the past position and the present position, we've got 2s, and we've got our 2 of Swords, which is air energy, being trapped in the mind, overthinking things, and also feeling quite blind to the most important information, which is that of the water energy behind this figure and the moon. That points towards emotions, right? So it's like trying to be as logical as possible in a situation and trying to make a decision, And it seems to me that a decision still hasn't been made, because that's your past position, and then it's followed by our present position here, where we've got the Two of Pentacles. Once again, not feeling on solid ground. We've got one foot up in the air, one foot down. Yeah, I mean, technically, when we're talking about these different elements, you've shifted from Swords, air element, to Pentacles, which is earth energy, which could be about finances, but like, gosh, you've been in a pickle. And there's something that you haven't been willing to look at, and it's very, very clear to me that it has to do with the realm of emotions. So Scorpio, you know, you are a water sign. Emotions are your thing, sometimes to the point of overwhelm, and shut down. So I get the feeling that in the intensity of the energies of what could be distant past, you know, this is general, distant or immediate past, something that's been going on is something that you don't want to look at, and yet we can try to be avoiding feelings, but that actually makes it worse. Like if you are feeling really bad and you want to feel better, there's a certain, some folks might say like, oh, just stick to positive psychology, only focus on the positive, only think about good things. And it's like, yeah, you're trying to rewire your brain to be thinking more positively in general, but if in the immediate feeling, when the first feeling comes up and you don't allow yourself to feel that or look at it or examine it, which is indicated by the moon in the back of this card, right? Going into the shadow and looking at what's coming up, it's going to blind you. So there's been this refusal to look at the emotions, or even look at the, you didn't even want to think about it. Not even looking at the swords. And then here, once again, having the back turned to the water, and it's still very, very choppy. In fact, by not looking at it in the first card, we're moving into even more choppy waters, focusing only on the pentacles, maybe trying to make a decision about where you want to live, what you're going to do about your health, do I go back to school, or only focusing on work stuff while still ignoring the emotional things. So can expand on that a little bit. So in the past position, you have the King of Pentacles. So this could be an individual in your life. This could be you. It's definitely Taurus energy. So something in the past you were thinking potentially about a Taurus. Maybe you have Taurus in your chart quite strong. So I hope this will focus for you. Good enough, I guess. It's my cell phone. There was very much, I mean, I'm getting two different things. For one group of you, there was a significant person who was a Taurus that you were thinking about in the past, that you were potentially involved with. Could have been a partner. I mean, the gender doesn't matter too much with the cards. A woman can be represented by a king card and vice versa. It can also represent really, really wanting to accumulate wealth, groundedness in your career, really, really focused on that. And at the same time, underneath of it, get the Five of Pentacles. Feeling, I think the feeling that you're trying to avoid but we're being overwhelmed by is the feeling of not enough. I really don't like it when people talk about poverty consciousness. I think being in poverty is something that's a lot more complicated, more complicated than just your mindset. There's a lot of systemic things involved in why people experience poverty. But if we are going to get to more of an energetic interpretation, this does mean that you were feeling left out in the cold, feeling that you didn't have what other people had, not recognizing that, you know, from a spiritual perspective, the glowing light that's coming through that window there, it's coming from a temple, whether it's a church, a synagogue, a temple. It's representative of you going inside into your spiritual self, letting yourself in out of the cold. And that can be done simply by shifting a mindset. That part is true. I think it's really important not to just like whitewash things with the positive psychology stuff and, you know, attitude of gratitude. Yes, that's extremely important and helpful, but not if you're not allowing yourself to feel something, and you really weren't. And now it continues into this feeling lost, feeling indecisive, not knowing where to go, and the water's just starting to rise and get choppier. And I think this really does have to do with, it's a situation where currently you're feeling impatient, right? You're not getting the most satisfaction. So we've got our Seven of Pentacles here. Not feeling satisfied in the work scenario, not feeling like, you've put in so much work and yet nothing is really grounding into the 3D. Maybe the payday hasn't happened. Maybe you're not getting acknowledged for the work that you've done, or that's at least how you're feeling. But perhaps not making a decision is what's preventing you from getting the recognition, or if it's not about recognition and it's more about simply getting paid, receiving what it is you feel you deserve. The current state is not feeling like it's coming through for you. Underneath is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords really, really represents clarity. And it's almost as if, like what I'm getting is, there needs to be clarity about something emotional that you don't want to look at that's going to help you move on. It's going to help you move forward in terms of reaching your goal, potentially shifting the focus for a while, shifting it into acknowledging why you feel the way that you feel. Understanding that movement is going to come, and I can say that because then in our future position, we've got our lovely Eight of Cups here. And the Eight of Cups is actually a much more positive card than some people realize, because the 8 in numerology, unlike what the image gives us here in the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is our sort of classic system, the 8 does represent obviously infinity, infinite energy, renewal, new cycles, moving forward in a very positive way, where some people tend to look at this card and see, oh, the moon, the water, the cups, the emotions, moving on from relationship, breakups, that sort of thing. It's not necessarily it. This is, to me, someone finally giving into the fact that they're hurting, and deciding to taking the position of the moon, see the face of the moon, as the witness. So what does that mean? The witness is a certain level of consciousness where you realize that you are not your emotion. You are the thing experiencing the emotion. So, and it actually takes being one step removed from that to be able to even recognize those levels. So we live our lives most of the time as the emotion. Like we're all consumed and blinded, right? Then we take a perspective of being able to look at what's in front of us. So we take the blinder off, and then we can take on this position of the witness one step further removed. So instead of being the experience, we can be the witness, witnessing ourselves having the experience. That's really, really important, because when people talk about mindfulness, that can be a very confusing concept. It's not about being able to control your thoughts at all times. It's about recognizing that you are not that thought itself. You're the person experiencing that thought. And how do you even recognize that you're separate from it? That's being in the witness. So I see a moving forward, and I don't see it as a bad thing, like this didn't work out. I think what's going to happen is that you're going to shift from that feeling left out in the cold, feeling that you're not receiving what you deserve, feeling that you've really been, that spirit's not looking at you or giving you a chance. I think there's going to be a very clear, there's clarity of mind. This is the realm of the mind and thoughts. And this is king energy. King energy is very mature, very grounded, very logical. You know precisely what you need to do. And I think that's going to come from you finally realizing that you have to look at the emotion. You have to let yourself feel the emotion. And in doing that, it moves so much faster through. And so we won't be constantly struggling against that current, right? So here's the thing. We get a 9 of Swords. Okay, no one likes the 9 of Swords. So what's important about the Nine of Swords is to recognize, especially with Scorpio season, I thought the Scorpios would just like cruise right through because it's your season. I have heard so many people close to me and really seen it in my communities. People really have struggled in this Scorpio season. There's been a lot coming up. And it's good. It's good that it's coming up now because we're about to move into a new decade. Like, talk about new cycle. Very exciting energy. But we really have to look at what hasn't been working and decide what we will walk away from. What I see you doing, Scorpio, is walking towards, do you see? It's so funny. They're stepping right off of the beach and walking towards the sea. They're walking towards the sea, right along the coast there by the light of the moon. Also knowing that you're not alone. You know, spirit is always with you, or the universe, or however you want to describe that. But this ineffable, indescribable connectedness that we all have to each other, but we also have to the universe around us, because we're all made of we're all made of the same stuff. You're always supported. It does not mean that it's always going to be easy. Definitely not. I can speak from experience. You know, and hearing the stories of so many amazing clients and loved ones. It's not easy, but we are given exactly what it is that we need in order to learn the lessons, what we have to do in order to move forward, complete that cycle and move on to the next thing, is to actually allow ourselves to identify what is the lesson I'm supposed to learn from this. So there's a halting. The universe is going, Scorpio, you need to stop trying to make this decision and stop feeling hard done by and being impatient. It's gonna come when you finally gain clarity, and that will come from you looking at what it is that's been bothering you, what has truly been holding you back, what is truly bringing up these difficult emotions. And it is not going to be easy. But that being said, those swords, they slice. I always say this about swords, they cut straight through the BS, right? You're going to go there, you're going to figure it out so that you can stop having that emotional monkey on your back. You're finally going to be able to put that weight down, make clear decisions, have the clarity, and not feel so much heaviness. That's been, frankly, preventing you from moving forward, because we've got our Knight of Pentacles, who, even in the upright, is the most, not stagnant energy, but they're sure, the Knight of Pentacles isn't going anywhere. Of all the Knights, you know, the Knights are usually this propulsion forward, this movement forward with excitement and energy, you know, regardless of what the element is. But this is earth energy, and the earth energy, like, trust me, I'm a Taurus, we're slow. We move slowly, and we contemplate, you know, and that's the energy that you get from this card. And it was even in the inverse. Now, some might say that that indicates that you are going to move forward, but I really felt the feeling of this is coming to a grinding halt. This might not be the whole month for you, Scorpio. This could actually just be like the next week, the next few days. It could be an overarching energy of how it's been going for the past few years. I don't know. But what you're being asked to do is go inward. Let yourself feel. Stop avoiding. Yeah. Stop avoiding. You're literally being asked to just stop. I don't want you to be afraid of this card. For some people, this will mean depression. For some people, this will mean a bad day. It's it's an energy that's going to affect everybody differently. The point of this is to make you understand that if you are feeling a lot, feeling very, very sad, that you can at least expect clarity to come from it. And you're really being asked to just take a moment. I'm actually surprised we don't see the Hermit card out here on the table, but we're going to go to get some clarification for you, Scorpio. A couple of cards from the Psychic Tarot. Ooh, what does Scorpio need to know? One. Ooh. Oh, okay. Woo. Scorpio, don't shoot the messenger. It's okay, I've had all these cards before. You are not alone. We get disruption. That's the Tower card, right? Okay. We see it coming. Something like quite explosive is going on for you, Scorpio. We're hitting a breaking point here. What I want you to not do, so the whole point of doing the tarot and the oracle is to recognize patterns that maybe you're not seeing. So we get the Suffering in Silence card, right? This is also the Nine of Wands. You get it twice. 2 times. So what can be learned from this? Suffering in silence? Talk to somebody. Having difficulty, feeling down, feeling depressed? Reach out. Everything falling apart, disruption, tension, the Tower moment. He's resisting it. That person's resisting it so hard, and yet it's going to explode, it's going to crumble. Let it fall. The clarity that you want that will come through with our Ace of Swords, all of this indecision and feeling stuck. This is where you've been and where you're currently at. This is where you want to go. Moving on, you have to let yourself feel it and grieve. But don't grieve alone, because grieving is a very necessary process, but doing it alone can send us in a loop, can send us in a spiral. Always reach out to someone that you feel safe, and that you feel that you can trust. Hoping that we're going to get a little bit of guidance for you here, Scorpio. Yeah, if you need some personal support, reach out to friends and family or a counselor. Reach out to me if you want more information or a personal read. What does Scorpio want to know? This Scorpio, ooh. Oh, that's nice. I love this card. I get this a lot. Love your spirit. It's the self-love card. It's the self-love card, okay? I'm going to hold that a little bit longer so you can see it. It's so beautiful. Love your spirit is love yourself. You've got to give yourself compassion, softness. If you need a day where you just don't get out of bed, don't let anyone tell you that that's not okay. Do let someone tell you that it's not okay to get stuck there for a week. It's about the balance between self-compassion and then motivation. I gotta tell you, trying to motivate yourself when you haven't allowed yourself to just feel the feeling, it's called self-flagellation. Like, you're hitting yourself for already being a bad boy or a bad girl or just not doing it right. It's like feeling crappy for feeling crappy. I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to feel good. I'm supposed to be this, be that, successful. Maybe that's the concern here. Yeah, be open to love. So feeling trapped in a mental prison, and you're being asked to let people love you. And if you feel like there's no one, if you feel like you don't know who loves you, really, really dig deep. Reach out to people, even if it scares you. Ask for what you need. You are not too much. You are not a burden. People do love you. I love you. The universe loves you. And believe it or not, you love you. If you are still here, you love you. Okay, if you're watching this, you love you. There's a part of you, the higher self, that's always with you and trying to get in touch, and there's just, you're not feeling it, you're not hearing it right now. So if you've fallen and you can't get up, if that's how you're feeling right now with that, or the suffering in silence, this is going to sound so cheesy, but it's actually, I study psychology and social work, and it actually calms the nervous system. It's Peter Levine, if you're looking for some interesting reading on trauma, and how trauma gets trapped in the body, traumatic energy, and how we can self-soothe. So if you're feeling alone, you can, I believe, you wrap your left hand around the side of your body, and then your right hand on your left arm. Might be the other way around. Nope, pretty sure it's this way. So take your left hand and put it on your rib cage, and then your right hand and put it on your left arm, and you squeeze and you hold yourself. Breathe in and out, and it helps regulate the nervous system and starts to circulate a feeling of safety, belonging, compassion, and eventually it'll feel like love. So be open to that from yourself and from others. I love this. That's exactly what this is inviting in. Loving yourself and letting other people love you. And that's what this challenge is meant to teach you right now, believe it or not. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This feels, I was going to say it feels complete, but I feel like I need one more. I'm going to do goddess guidance. This can apply to any gender. Don't worry too much about the guidance, but I do find my goddess guidance cards are very much like badass energy, and I feel like we need a bit of an injection right now of the badass energy from the goddesses who support us and are watching us, wanting us to succeed. The goddesses want you to succeed. White Tara, sensitivity. Oh yeah, Scorpio. You are becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. So Tara, she is a deity that actually there's several different Taras, and each one represents a different characteristic, divine characteristic. And White Tara represents sensitivity, and it's just letting you know that at this time, the reason why it feels really hard is because you're particularly sensitive. Maybe because it was your season and it really cracked you open. So be open to love, keep loving on yourself, or reach out to community or one person. You know, really be gentle with yourself, because you're gonna move through it, and allow yourself to move through it as well without pushing. Only when you're ready. Yeah. Because actually the realization that comes, that King of Swords, the realization that comes from letting yourself feel this emotion, whatever it is that you've been avoiding and has been holding you back, is going to bring a tower moment. But the tower will crumble in a really good way when you finally let go and let it fall away. And then who knows what will be built from the remnants, you know. Then you have an opportunity to be the phoenix rising from the ashes. I love that. It's so beautiful. Scorpio, I am sending you so much love, and yeah, I hope that you are doing okay, and reach out if you need anything, and we will check in again soon. Okay. Sending you so much love. Be gentle with yourself, and we'll talk soon.